Ladies and gentlemen, mi gente, here we are at Stevens Steakhouse and with Little Brown Eyed Soul, the legendary Sunny Ozuna. ¿Cómo
Thank
estás,
you, thank you.
hermano?
Muy bien, gracias. Thank you, Mr. Duran. It's a pleasure seeing you after a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, ¿verdad?
¿Verdad? Oh, yeah.
Híjole. Sonny, we're going to talk more about the early days, man.
Okay,
Cuando tan
okay.
comenzó. Let's start with pues, Cariño Nuevo, the album y todo eso.
Okay. Well, what happens is that at the age of 19, I was still in high school, graduating from Burbank High School in San Antonio, Texas, where I'm actually from, San Antonio. And we were just teenagers playing rock and roll. Just little record hops and doing little dancing in San Antonio. And then we just, little by little, we had a drummer. His name was Manuel Guerra, out of San Antonio. And he became my drummer. Of course, he was an older guy. And so he became my manager. And the rest of us were all just young teenagers. And he got the idea one day of adding what we were already playing, the rock and roll y todo, especially the slow song, but to add some Spanish lyrics to some of those to see what would happen. Wow. Not realizing we were going to open the industry for what is now known as Tejano music. Yeah.
Well, and what year was this?
We're talking about 1963, 64, right up in there. Yeah, fresh out of high school. I was 19 years old.
Y luego de ahí, talk to me cuando vino ese.
Okay, about the same time, believe it or not, in my senior year, which was, by the way, 1963, I went into the recording studio and we recorded. We used to call ourselves at that time, I don't know if you remember, because you and I are about the same age. We were called Sunny and the Sun Glows.
Oh, yes.
Sunny and the Sun Glow.
That, yeah.
And we recorded our very first song, like every young group in the recording studio. And it happened to be a song that I grew up with that I never imagined in my life ever wanting to record up until we actually got into the recording studio. And I said, what do you want to record? And the only thing I could think of was Talk to Me, because I grew up with it. And I said, well, how about Talk to Me? He said, okay, well, let's work on it. And not knowing that we would later sell a little over 1 million copies of Talk to Me. Okay. And then about the time when we started adding the Spanish lyrics to some of the songs, going back to where we were talking about, of course, who doesn't know Jose Alfredo Jimenez, right?
Yeah.
Well, we heard this one song called Cariño Nuevo, which was Jose Alfredo's, one of hundreds of songs de Jose Alfredo. And it just happened to be the first song that was there at the right time to open something new in the genre called Tejano music, and Cariño Nuevo was one of them.
Yeah. I remember, man, this was like, I was still living in El Paso, El Chuco.
Oh, yeah.
I was about 15, 16 years old, and you would put out a hit, and then Little Joe La Familia put out a hit, and then a month later you put out a hit. I mean, tell me about that, man, because the audience was going crazy, man. They were, going by your album, then going by his, you know.
Well, what happened is that we did not know of each other. I'm actually from San Antonio, Texas, and he is from Temple, Texas, which is about a couple of 100 miles coming north from San Antonio. And when we became aware of each other was in some of the little jobs around the Fort Worth and Dallas area. They would put us together and they would promote us as Battle of the Bands, and we didn't know what we're getting into, but we caught on real quick. After you couldn't get any people inside the places were so packed. So we said, we're going to have to stop this Battle of the Band. But when we did become aware of each other, for some reason, we also became rivals. Good friends, but rivals. So he would put something out, and then I wanted to put something out better, and then he wanted to better what I just did. And before we knew it, we didn't realize that we were just actually using each other to grow, and it kind of went like that for many years.
Yeah, boy, that was something else.
Yeah.
La gente ya no se aguantaba, la gente. Y luego, let's talk about one of my favorite songs that I always put it on my CD, and I listen. I Apologize. Tell me
Yes.
about this.
Well, actually, it's one of the songs that I wrote back in the day. We're talking way, way in the beginning. We're talking maybe around the 70s. What happened is that after playing a lot of the record hops for the young kids, we were playing for crowds of kids that were our age, and we kind of were growing together. And we found at a time that the more I started liking writing songs, so the more I wrote, it just kept me alive one more year every time I wrote something. And just Baby I Apologize is one of the songs that just happened to at that time. And I'm sure, I can't tell you right now what year that was, but I'm sure it kept me alive that year.
Do you ever perform it? Will you have to go back and I guess to remember the words?
No, not really, not really. We still play it. As a matter of fact,
really? Oh, wow.
yeah. There's a lot of songs that in we call them. I don't know if everybody does. I call them signature songs.
Right, yeah.
And so a signature song is if you talk about René, for example, very good friend of mine. You'll say René, who's René? Oh, you remember Angelito y lo mucho que te quiero? Oh yeah, I remember. See, I call those signature songs.
Right.
So I have, for example, just off the top of my head, Baby I Apologize, Golly Gee, Smile Not Cry Later, Put Me in Jail, The One That's Hurting Is You, Should I Take You Home? The list just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah.
Because for me, this is 62 years later.
Yeah, but look at how Smile Now, Cry Later, I Apologize, all these songs, man. I mean, the people go crazy here in California, and I'm pretty sure in the Art Laboe shows and all that. That's you remember writing it?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I actually do.
And it had the logo también, a sad face and a happy face.
Yeah. And of course, around that time, the Smile Not Cry Later, all the car clubs were real popular, remember?
Yeah.
So they kind of got off on it. So more and more, I used to see Smile Not Cry Later cars that were painted on the outside in different places that we went. Yeah.
Wow. Now, a song I was asking you, and my cousin loved, he was in Vietnam. God rest his soul, he's not with us no more. He got killed in Vietnam. But he took a cassette and he was something about pimples in my face. What a disgrace.
The song was, I was a teenager, and you can tell by that song. You can tell by this song. I got an athlete's feet, a broken nose, calluses on my toes, pimples on my face. Oh, what a disgrace! I guess I'm just a hopeless case. A young kid in high school, right? And feeling all down about he likes the little girl, and the little girl don't like it. He thinks that he's defective. That's why, and so he comes up with, well, maybe it's my pimples, maybe it's I got this, and that's where I got the idea of hopeless case.
And now, there's a live album and where you're doing a song at Runaway.
Yes, Runaway. Okay, Runaway was around a little later in the 70s, closer to the 80s. But we were just trying to keep up with the fact, like I said, that I was writing, and it just seems that I was just within that luck of not only being real popular at the time and still growing in the business, both in the oldies and the Tejano, because we were just going back and forth. When we weren't doing one genre, we were doing another. But it's just one of those songs that didn't wake up till much later. When I recorded Runaway, it really didn't do what we thought it was going to do especially in the San Antonio was really our test area to see how big the song was going to be, because we all live there. So we could tell more or less and then to spread it out. And we expected Runaway to do very well at the time that we recorded it. But it is until now, way up here in 2022, 23, that Runaway took off.
Oh, what a beautiful song, too. Also.
Thank you.
Man,
Thank
I congratulate you. And everything you wrote, man, it's like, well, what a genius, Niente. You know what I mean? What get the talent, you know what I mean?
Thank you. Thank you.
Todo eso y le estás pegando duro todavía and all that.
Yes.
How many years of the Sunny?
Actually, Sunny and the Sunliners is now 62 years in the business. Yeah. And we're still doing nomás que since I like writing so much, now I write country, I write gospel, I write Tejano, I write oldies, and I'm doing Christmas carols. So it keeps me busy.
Yeah, it sure does. Now, You had shared with me the last time I talked to you a few years back. Que you would record in the hallway because the echo sounded good, or even in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I kid about this on the jobs all the time, but I kid about it, but it's the truth. Yeah, I always tell them, now I'd like to play a song for you that I actually wrote in the bathroom. Of course, they get a big kick out of it. I said, well, I had this other business I had to take care of and anyway, so I dragged my guitar in there, and never did I ever imagine that the guitar, with all the tile, we used to always put them in, los mexicanos tenemos all that tile in the bathroom, and if you played the guitar in there, it almost sounds like a recording studio. So, man, I just took off on that. I couldn't stop till I finished putting me in jail. And then I tell them, and then on top of that, I've been spending a lot of time in the bathroom now.
Oh, boy. What year did you hook up with Art LeBeau?
I think Art LeBeau, I wasn't really that much aware of him in the beginning part of our very first recordings, but it was shortly right before Smile Not Cry Later, because he when he heard that he picked that up right away. So and then he went over the years and went back to Talk to Me and Run Away and Should I Take You Home, and some of those to give it a little bit, to give it a little variety, you know. Yeah.
How do you still feel the same excitement when you hear yourself on the radio like the first time?
I still do. And they tell me, well, you've been around a long time. When do you plan to quit? I says, when it's not exciting anymore. because right now I still get very excited. If you come to one of my shows, you'll notice that we still go up with the same enthusiasm we always did, because I love what I do. I love what I do.
Either los Sunglows y the Sunlighters musicians, are they still here with us?
No, actually, it was 62 years later. We've lost quite a few of them. I think maybe one or two still might be around. They're not playing with me anymore, and I'm not sure that they're still playing, but I think maybe just one or two left from way day one.
Did Bobby Loya play with you?
No, he didn't. I had a Bobby that played with us for a long time. His name was Bobby Solis, and he was a drummer. But Bobby passed on.
Yeah. Oh wow, man, incredible. Any new stuff coming out right now that we should be on the lookout?
Yes, as we speak, I have a brand new CD called Oldies for the Baby Boomers, and that's basically baby boomers are for those that don't know, is the generation that I actually started with, and they've stayed with us all these years. That generation got called baby boomers, so it's called Oldies for Baby Boomers. Is the name of that one, and it's all English. And then I've got a Tejano one that's already finished, and hopefully this month it'll be out. It's called La Estrella que Brilla, the star that shines, and it's all Tejano.
Wow. Have you and Little Joe ever decided to record together one song, or maybe in the future?
He did. I'm going to discuss it with him because I think that the idea is very good. We should do something. He has done a tribute to my song, but he did a whole CD, and we haven't gone in the shop yet to do. But I'd like to do something, to his music. Wow. But I'm gonna approach him with that idea. Thank you for the idea.
So, ahorita you're here in California because when you see this, it already passed, but you'll be at the Greek Theater.
That's right. Yeah. And coincidentally, Little Joe's on the card.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. Of course, the main act is Los Lonely Boys.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there's Little Joe, myself, and then Ray Carrion, and the Latin All-Stars. So we're hopefully, right now they're talking about it's going to be a big thing.
Oh, yeah. Wow, man. Sunny, so if people wanted to find out information about where you're at or CDs, is there a website they could go to?
Sure. You can just go to sunnyozuna.com, sunnyozuna.com, and everything that you've lost, that you loaned to your cousins and you didn't get them back, now you can get them. Everything you could imagine from day one, just go to sunnyozuna.com.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I got in touch with you a couple of years ago. My cousin, another cousin, said there was a beautiful instrumental with a guitar in it. and I talked to your son, and Sapo me lo mandó rápido.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, going back to what we were talking about with Joe and ourselves, that was something that wasn't a part of what we were doing at the time of recording all instrumentals. But they were using a lot of our instrumentals. We noticed to open radio programs at the beginning of radio programs back in the day, or to close at the end. Well, thank you for being with us, and they would play one of our songs in the background. So we did instrumentals at that time.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, Sonny, anything else you want to share with us?
Well, I just like to thank. I know that every year that goes by, we seem to be gaining more and more. Our audience keeps getting bigger, and we appreciate that. And we hope that if you take a little time and just go to sunnyozuna.com and you'll see what your mom and dad were telling you about Sunny and the Sunliners all these years, and you'll get to see it for yourself.
There you go. One album you were wearing a mariachi hat, right?
That's right. That CD is called Las Ciudades.
Las Ciudades.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Man, Sonny, what an honor. Man.
Thank you, Mr.
so
Duran.
much for doing this interview with us.
Thank you.
Before we leave, will you take us out con una canción?
Yeah.
Well,
How about I apologize with tears in my eyes. I know I'm to blame. I'm sorry. I'm ashamed, baby, 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 baby. Ooh.
wow, mi gente, híjole, un abrazo, man.
Thank you, Mr. Duran.
Que Dios los bendiga, man.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy this, ladies and gentlemen, and share. And then when you share it, tell them, pícale. That means like, okay? I los watch, tachos.